1. When hard work becomes a death sentence. You think hard work will be recognized and rewarded? In Japan, it can get you killed. Why does a civilized country let thousands of people die from overwork every year? The phenomenon of Karoshi, death from overwork, has haunted Japanese office life for decades. Here, office culture not only demands efficiency, but also sacrifices of time, health and emotions. Many people feel guilty if they leave the office before their boss, leading to exhaustion. The Japanese government has had to issue an order to limit overtime, a rare thing in the world, to deal with the alarming suicide rate. A heartbreaking testament to the extremes of perfectionism in Japanese culture. When work is no longer a source of pride, but a form of sacrifice. 2. No tipping. Why is gratitude rejected? You think tipping is a way to show appreciation for your waiter? In Japan, it is considered tactless. Why does a smile of attentive service not come with a right to receive a reward? In this country, service quality is considered a responsibility in itself, without the need for material rewards. If you leave a tip, the restaurant staff can chase you down, just to return every penny. They believe that, when you pay, you have received good service, there is no need to pay more to buy gratitude. Instead of money, the Japanese show their appreciation with small, delicate gifts, a hand-folded origami, a card with a few sincere words of thanks. It is a value that goes beyond money, a deep respect for people, not a salary. In Japan, value is in the action, not the bill. 3. Tattoos, a beautiful memory or a sign of sin? Do you think tattoos are art, a sign of personality? In Japan, they can get you refused entry to public baths, motels, and even swimming pools. Why do patterns on your skin make you treated like a criminal? In Japanese culture, tattoos are associated with the Yakuza, a notorious criminal organization. They are not only symbols, but also identification marks. The tradition of banning tattoos originated in the Edo period, when criminals were tattooed to permanently mark themselves. Meanwhile, ancient courtesans also tattooed themselves to show their bondage, a form of tragic sacrifice. Although today's Japanese youth are becoming more open, foreigners with tattoos still have to cover them up when entering public places. A New Zealand tourist was once refused entry to a hot spring just because of a traditional tattoo on her face. In Japan, the body is a space of purity, and any ink can tarnish that. 4. Not giving up your seat to the elderly, inconsiderate or respectful? Do you think not giving up your seat to the elderly is impolite? In Japan, it is a social principle. Why is not standing up an acceptable action, even appreciated? The Japanese transportation system has specially designed priority areas for the elderly, pregnant women, and people with disabilities. If those seats are already occupied, those who come later, even the elderly, are also allowed to stand. Because equality here is not based on pity but on the rule, whoever comes first gets to sit. Instead of publicly giving up their seats, which can make others feel discriminated against, the Japanese choose to voluntarily remain silent, standing up as if getting off the bus, or quietly leaving their seats. A tactful act that does not hurt self-esteem. In Japan, kindness does not need words, it needs to be done properly. 5. Deadly numbers, why is number 4 being erased? You think number 4 is just a number? In Japan, it brings death. Why can a number disappear from elevators, hotels, and hospitals? In Japanese, 4 sounds similar to the word shi, meaning death. Similarly, the number 9 sounds similar to kuroshimi, meaning pain. Therefore, these two numbers are considered to represent bad luck, and are even completely eliminated from daily life. Elevators in Japan may not have a 4th floor, but instead 3A or 3S. Hotels will not have rooms 9 or 49. In contrast to the West, where 9 is considered a lucky number, the Japanese avoid it as a curse. This reflects a deep-rooted belief that words and sounds have power, they can cause disaster if not taken care of. In Japan, superstition is not backwardness, but respect for the invisible. 6. Giving gifts the wrong way. Can a kind act also be considered a curse? Do you think giving gifts is a sign of goodwill? In Japan, if you are not careful, that gift can make the recipient shiver. Why is a comb or a flower considered a bad omen? With about 70 gift-giving occasions each year, the Japanese have developed an extremely strict system of rules. Gifts related to the numbers 4 or 9 are avoided, because they carry the meaning of death and suffering. In particular, you should never give a comb. The word kushi, meaning comb, when separated into sounds becomes ku, pain, and shi, death. In addition, you should not give sharp objects such as knives and scissors, symbolizing separation, glass objects, implying fragility, or chrysanthemums and camellias, flowers that usually only appear at funerals. Not only is the wrong gift embarrassing, it can also be seen as a subtle act of cursing someone. In Japan, gift giving is not just an act, it is a spiritual ritual. 7. Sitting with legs crossed, comfortable or offensive? Do you think sitting with legs crossed is normal? In Japan, it can make you look rude or indecent. Why is a common posture associated with the image of prostitutes? In Japanese culture, every behavior in public carries a message. Sitting posture reflects respect and personality. Sitting with legs crossed, especially when in a meeting or serious conversation, is considered disrespectful to the person opposite, even arousing a feeling of arrogance. Worse still, in Japanese history, this posture was associated with the image of cheap prostitutes soliciting customers. Therefore, the ideal sitting position is encouraged to be seiza, sitting with knees bent neatly on the floor, keeping the back straight, hands placed lightly on the thighs. This posture not only shows respect but also embodies humility. How you sit, in Japan, can say a lot about your personality. 8. Women in the sacred ban. Why are half the world banned from sacred mountains? You think women have the right to go everywhere? But in Japan, there are still lands where they are not allowed to set foot. Why does a modern country keep the centuries-old ban on women? From the top of Mount Amanazan, one of the UNESCO heritage sites, to the sacred island of Okinoshima, women are completely banned. The reason? Their presence is considered to pollute the sacred space. In these places, even men must strictly purify their bodies before entering, but women are completely excluded, with no choice. Not only that, Japanese women are also banned from many other things. They are not allowed to step into the sumo ring. They are not allowed to register for remarriage within 6 months of divorce, laws that still exist despite changes in society. A country may be at the forefront of technology, but old prejudices still lurk like roots under the modern veneer. 9. Smoking outdoors, a free act or a violation of the law? Do you think smoking outdoors is less harmful than indoors? In Japan, it can still get you fined thousands of dollars. Why is a cigarette on the street a crime? Since 2018, Japan has been tightening its anti-smoking laws in public places, especially in hospitals, schools and government offices. Smoking in the wrong place can result in a fine of up to $2,700. But the paradox is, while smoking outdoors is banned, many restaurants and bars are still allowed to have designated smoking areas. This has caused a lot of controversy. Some people think that if it is banned, it should be banned completely, rather than just limited to public spaces. Japan is trying to maintain a balance between individual rights and community responsibility, but that also creates controversial gray areas. In Japan, just because you are outdoors doesn't mean you are free. 10. Physical touch, friendly gesture or intrusive behavior? Do you think a handshake or a pat on the shoulder is a sign of intimacy? In Japan, these actions can make the other person step back. Why has a social act become taboo in public? The Japanese highly value polite distance, the inviolable personal space. Touching someone without permission, even accidentally, is considered impolite. Even shaking hands is not common. Instead, they bow at the correct angle, showing absolute respect. Public displays of affection such as holding hands or kissing on the cheek in public are still considered inappropriate. In a society that respects privacy and emotional control, silence and distance are polite language. The act of stroking someone's hair, touching their shoulder, or taking a photo without permission can all be considered an invasion of privacy. In Japan, friendliness is not about touching, it's about being subtle and self-possessed. 11. Wearing shoes indoors, an unintentional act or a silent insult? Do you think wearing shoes indoors is normal? In Japan, this is like stepping on the honor of the homeowner. Why does a pair of shoes carry both impurity and disrespect? Thousands of years ago, the Japanese developed a culture of separating inside and outside. The home is a sacred, clean and private space. The floor is usually covered with tatami mats, soft but easy to collect dust, so wearing shoes is considered extremely rude. At the door, you will see the genkan, the area where shoes are placed and slippers are changed indoors, usually lower than the main floor, as a clear boundary between outside life and inside life. Even indoor slippers have their limits, they are not used when entering the toilet, where there are separate slippers. This attention to detail shows that in Japanese culture, entering a home means entering the heart of the owner. Wearing the wrong shoes means you are trampling on hospitality. 12. Eating while walking, a convenient habit or a disruptive behavior? Do you think eating while walking is a very common thing? In Japan, this behavior can make you look at it with an unpleasant gaze. Why is eating cakes on the street considered a disruption of social order? The Japanese believe that food is for enjoyment, not for convenience. When eating, you should stop, find a small corner, or go to a restaurant, to fully enjoy the food. Eating while walking is considered disrespectful to the food, and to the people around you. The taste, the sound of chewing, the crumbs flying on the sidewalk, are all considered disruptive. The Japanese even teach children from a young age, don't eat while walking, because it won't taste good and will make others uncomfortable. Cuisine, to them, is not just about taste, but a ritual that requires concentration. In Japan, eating is not about getting full quickly, but about slowing down and appreciating life. 13. Passing food with chopsticks, a friendly gesture or a funeral ritual? Do you think that picking up food with chopsticks is a way to show care? In Japan, you might be shocked by the opposite. Why is a warm gesture during a meal considered unlucky and creepy? In Japanese funerals, there is a special ritual. Relatives will use chopsticks to pass the bones of the deceased from one person to another to place in an urn. Therefore, the act of using chopsticks to pass food to another person, especially from chopsticks to chopsticks, is considered to evoke a mournful image, inappropriate for a normal meal. Similarly, sticking chopsticks upright in a bowl of rice is also forbidden, because it resembles the way rice is offered to the dead. If you accidentally do this in Japan, not only will you be judged as having low cultural understanding, but it will also make the locals feel uneasy and cold. In Japan, chopsticks are more than just eating utensils, they are symbols of life and death and respect. Japan is more than just a destination, it is a parallel world, where every action, every bow or glance carries the weight of centuries of culture. Seemingly small things, like the way you open a gift or place your chopsticks, are windows into the soul of a dignified and refined people. If you thought you understood Japan through manga, sushi or cherry blossoms, today's journey may have made you think again. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. This is an episode of our travel documentary series, where we take you to the deepest depths of culture, not just to see, but to feel and understand. If you are drawn to these beautiful mysteries, don't forget to like, subscribe and share this video. Join us on our next journeys of discovery, where each country is a book waiting for you to open. Are you ready for the next journey?